Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about all the stuff I'm not going to buy for 2022. So let's get into it right away. And I've seen a lot of people make these videos, and I initially thought, isn't it kind of weird to make videos like that saying what you're not buying? I'm like, what's the point of that? But then I thought about it and I thought, well, what's the stuff I'm not buying? Because I don't want to buy anything, to be honest. So we can end the video now, and the answer is I'm not buying nothing for 2022. But that's not entirely true either, so I figured, okay, let's give it a go. So the first thing I'm not buying is a washer and dryer. So number one, my washer and dryer I had was 13 years old, and it worked fine, and it was one of those ones where it has a steam option on both the washer and the dryer, and it has a sanitizing function, and it has like all the things. So the dryer started to take a really long time to dry clothes, like 2-3 hours, and the clothes was still not getting dry. And then we're like, okay, and it started to smell funny, and I'm like, okay, that's not normal. So all these things started to go wrong with it in the 13 years we've had it, and finally, after 3 hours of trying to dry the clothes, it just won't dry. The boyfriend looked into it, we took it apart, and we actually found that the bottom or some part inside, it was full of water. So I don't know what was happening. We noticed a lot of stuff was burnt. So there ended up being like 6 or 7 problems with it. If it was just one thing, we might have been able to fix it. But because there's like 6 or 7 different things wrong with it, the cost of having to fix the dryer, it's ridiculous. I could buy 2 dryers for that price. So we decided we are not buying a dryer in 2022. In fact, I don't want to buy a dryer ever in the future. It's dead, it's finished. We put it out in the garbage, and a scrap person came and took it. You know, that's the guy who goes around the garbages, and he takes all appliances, washers, dryers, anything metal, and he goes and takes it for scrap metal. So it's gone off to get recycled for scrap metal. At least it didn't end up in the landfill. Parts of it will be in the landfill, but at least the metal will be taken off and reused. So it's interesting because even though it was 13 years old, I almost never used it in the summer. We always hang up our clothing, and we started to even hang up our clothing in the winter, because when your house gets really dry in the winter, if you hang up your clothes, it will actually put humidity into the air with the clothes drying. So we have like a drying rack in the bathroom. So we will just hang dry our clothes from now on in the house or outside. And the washing machine, it's still working. However, it's not working that great. It's really weird. When we bought the washer, 1 week after we bought the washer 13 years ago, it was so loud. Like, it was super, super loud. It wasn't normal. So we were under warranty because it was only a few weeks old, and they sent someone to come look, and it turned out that the bearings were defective in the drum. So the guy told us that it's not something you could see, or the manufacturer would see, because it's the little ball bearings that rotate. And they replaced the entire drum and everything for free. And that repair, had I had to pay for it, would have been $600, which is ridiculous. We should have the right to repair, and we should have the right to repair cheaply. It should not cost you more to repair an item than to buy the item new. That's part of what's wrong with the world. So fast forward 13 years later, after that drum was replaced, it's starting again. We can hear it. It is getting extremely loud, like extremely loud. Even if we close the bathroom door, it's freaking horrible. So when that goes, because it will go and break, we are not replacing it. I have a little handheld Wonder washer. It lets you wash your clothes with no electricity. It's off-grid. I've had it for a few years now, and I'm going to do a video about it because it's one of the best things that you could buy. I actually got it off a garage sale group local to me for like 25 bucks. So with that being said, I am not buying a washer or a dryer ever. Some of the next things I'm not buying is Q-tips, which I know sounds really weird. I mean, Q-tips, isn't that kind of strange? But I used to buy Q-tips from Costco, and it used to come in like a pack of 3, so you would get like huge long rectangle packs, but you get 3 packs. So I think it was something like 1,800 and something Q-tips, and I only used 3 Q-tips every time I was taking a shower or whatever. So it took forever for me to get through those Q-tips. In fact, I've been living eco-friendly for almost all my life, but really, I would say stricter or more serious about it in the last few years, and it took me a few years just to go through all those Q-tips. So they're gone, they're finished, I'm not replacing them. If I need anything, you could take a piece of toilet paper, fold it, and you could put in your ear and whatever, and that's fine. It'll work just the same. Now, another thing, the next thing we're not buying is soap. Believe it or not, I'm not buying any hand soap, like bar soap. Many years ago in my local grocery store, I walked in and they would put like this big rack, huge metal rack, just as you walk into the door of anything that was like liquidated or discount. So I went in there one day and there was all this soap. There was like hundreds and hundreds of bars of soap, 2 different kinds. And it was 2 bars wrapped together for 33 cents. So I thought, 33 cents for 2 bars of soap? I'm like, that's amazing. So I bought a whole bunch. Like, I bought a ton. I didn't take everything because, like I said, there was literally hundreds of bars there. But I think I took like 50 or 60 bars of each kind. And we've been still using that for many years later, and the soap is fine. And then apart from that, I got into making my own soap. Now, I didn't try cold process. I started with melt and pour soap, where you just buy like a giant block of soap already done. You cut it up, you melt it, you add whatever you want to it, and then you re-solidify it, and it becomes soap, but it's not like cold process with chemical or lye or anything. The idea was I wanted to learn how to make melt and pour first, and then I would move into cold process. And at the time, I used to do craft fairs, and I make handmade zero waste items, and I sell at craft fairs. So I thought I would try soap, and if you do the math, it was actually cheaper to make my own soap than it was to buy it in the store. So I thought I would start soap, and the Panini started, so all the craft fairs closed down, and in fact they're still closed. They've been closed for over 2 years now. So all this soap I made is just sitting there. So we started using it. We're like, well, forget it. We're just going to use it, and we're not going to be buying soap again. So I don't even know when the next time I'm going to need to buy soap. I just don't need to buy it. And if we keep going on, if we keep moving on, what's the next thing I'm not buying for 2022? And that is dishes. Any kind of dishes, cups, saucers, bowls, not buying it. I went out one year, many years ago, and I bought 5 sets of dishes, and each set has 4 pieces. So I had 20 bowls, 20 saucers, 20 cups, and we are only a family of 3 here. And I bought it because I had decided to do Christmas one year for everybody, and we're always like a lot of people for Christmas. It's either 14, 16, or sometimes over 20. So I needed at least 20, and that's why I bought them. However, 3 people living in a house don't need 20 dishes. In fact, almost immediately after that Christmas, I took the coffee mugs, because I didn't need 20 coffee mugs, and I sold them all. I got rid of them. And then later on, not too long ago, maybe last year, I think it was, or the year before, I decided I'm not keeping all those dishes, so I started making sets, and I started selling them. It was a set of 4, I think, for $20, and I sold 3 sets. So currently, I kept only 4 of everything I have 4 bowls, 4 saucers, and 4 of dinner plates. And then I did the same thing with the silverware. So forks, knives, spoons, I got rid of it. I only kept 4 of each again. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Because what happens is people in this house, I don't know if it happens in your house, but they will go take a plate and use the plate and put the plate in the sink, right? And then they will take another plate, use the plate, and put it in the sink. So they will literally go through 20 plates, all the dishes, instead of reusing it or washing it, you know? So you end up with like so many dishes, and I said, forget it. I'm like, I'm not doing it anymore. No way. So I kept 4 of each. In case one breaks, we'll still have 3. We'll be fine. So that's what I did. The last thing I'm not going to buy for 2022 is furniture. Now, where I live, the original part of the house was built in 1926. Okay? We have paperwork from the town that says 1928, but everything we found in the house, there was an old calendar put on the wall. It's 1926. So as you can imagine, nothing is straight. Forget it. And everything's a little bit different. We have higher ceilings, we have higher walls, and parts of the house were added on later. So finding furniture in the store, like in general, to fit a certain space, it's not, I'm not going to say it's not impossible, but it is very difficult. So what the boyfriend did and what I designed was we decided to make our own furniture, mostly for the house, out of wood and plumbing pipe, metal plumbing pipe. And we ended up making like giant desks and connected wall units. So it literally takes up like, it literally is against one wall, it's against the other wall, it's right on the floor, and it's right on the ceiling. We just took the massive whole wall and we built in shelves and a desk set. And that works so well. It was a lot cheaper. It was still expensive in general. Not that bad. But it was still cheaper than buying like pre-made, prefabricated stuff that won't last you long. The stuff we have is real solid wood. It's not going anywhere. So that was just a few things of what I'm not buying. And by not buying this stuff and finding alternatives, it will save you a lot of money. And I'm very curious to see the money savings on my electricity bill at the end of the year because of the no dryer. So dryers, obviously, they use electricity, and it does cost you money every year to use a dryer. So I'm really, really curious to see the money saving difference by not using my dryer. And I'm also curious, does everybody else out there have a washer and dryer? Because I knew a lot of people growing up that never had a dryer. They always had a washer, but most people I knew, we always hung our clothes outside. And growing up, we always had a clothesline in the backyard. And if you didn't have a clothesline, then you put it on your fence or whatever to dry. So with that, guys, I will see you next week, and I hope you had a good day. So I was like 33 cents for 2 bars of soap. Why did that just get brighter?